Providence Television International, the game changer, taking you to the outer limits of television.
Welcome to the program Issues in the News on Providence Television International. I am Ugbebo Ikekwa to discuss the present issues in the news. With me today is the CEO Providence Television International, Dr. Emmanuel Igariva. You're welcome to the studio.
Yes, always a place to be here. We thank the good Lord that in this part of the country the rains are subsiding. But surprisingly, up in the north, rains are coming in torrents, surprisingly. Talk about climate change. However, you're welcome to the program Issues in the News.
And if we, since we're going down straight to the issues in the news, if you would recall, about 6 months ago precisely, in Rivers State, there was a change of government. Some individuals have come out to say it was forceful, some have come out to say it wasn't constitutional. By tomorrow, which will be the 18th day of September 2025, that suspension of the government that was on ground will be over. We will be discussing this issue. But first of all, let us look at it from this angle. Rivers State hopes mixed views as emergency rule ends on Thursday.
Well, I think it's a sure relief for Barra. A sure relief because he's been down there for 6 months. It's also a sure relief for his party, PDP. But there were many questions following that event. Many questions. I'm not too sure if they have been answered now, really. First of all, people doubted the constitutionality of the choice or the event or that proclamation. Was it supported by the Constitution? I mean, a lot of very senior lawyers spoke about it very, very copiously, that it was outside the realm of constitutional government. That's one. Number two, we remember the Wike factor. I mean, proud that there were two people in combat, Fubara and Wike. But Wike was left off. Exactly. Nobody talked about him. Nobody talked about his deeds in Rivers State, and he was even emboldened. Rather than being subjected to the new order, he was emboldened to say the things he wanted to say and all of that. So, but that was a question on the lips of very many people. What happens to Wike? Nothing. Now, the voice vote, you remember, in the National Assembly.
Exactly.
These things were not supposed to be done that way. Because, first of all, the vote should have been counted. Yeah, but it was a simple voice vote. And we're not even too sure if the voice vote was apparent. So there were question marks around there. And the appointment of a military officer, I mean, a retired military officer, a lot of people also raised questions about that, about Rear Admiral Ibas. Okay. And was he supported? Was his appointment supported by the Constitution? These are very many burning issues.
Yeah.
That remain still burning, I mean, till date, okay, even though the exit point is tomorrow. Now, was he even empowered to appoint his commissioners? People, in fact, are saying now that Fubara should dislodge those commissioners because they are not appointed according to the rule of law. And don't forget, Shetima, the vice president, also said down the line that what happened in Rivers was against the Constitution. Yes, and the presidency did not react to that as such. So, but there are many questions, very few answers.
Exactly.
And I just hope that this does not repeat itself in another state. And by the way, the emergency rule we are talking about could have been carried out in some other states by way of insecurity, by way of the market forces, and things like that. You declare a state of emergency on electricity, on roads, and things like that. Particularly in security, people have voiced it out vehemently. That rather than Rivers, the vote of the emergency rule should have been directed somewhere else. in some other areas that were more turbulent. What was the issue in Rivers anyway that could not have been decided ordinarily? So, but these are the issues. 6 months have gone by, and I'm sure that Fubara, I want to praise his courage and tenacity. Although, even when APC is saying now that he should jump the boat to come and join APC.
Yes.
How that will play out, I don't know. Will the PDP sit by and allow him to join the APC and all of that? So, but that's what it is. Okay? And I hope that there will be many more issues to talk about following the event of tomorrow.
All right. As regards the event of tomorrow, we've always known that in law there's what they call precedence. There was a very great precedence that was taken as regards the part of Tinubu. Do you think that this might happen in another state? Since nothing has come out of what has happened now, by tomorrow it will all be over.
Yeah, nobody should stretch his luck too far. That's my take. This one has gone by, obviously, but the burning issues remain. Yes. And it did not happen elsewhere. Even Obasanjo, when he tried it, I think it was in Plateau or something, a lot of people cried out against it, and that was the end. But this one, and what is so peculiar about this is that it didn't have to do with insecurity as such. Yes. And there was nothing to talk about the instability of the country, you remember. But a lot of people have ascribed political reasons to it. And these ascriptions may not be absolutely wrong.
Okay.
In view of the fact that Rivers was becoming the baby of Wike as such, becoming his best right or something. That's what experts, political analysts have said. And these things are still going on. I just pray that things do not degenerate again. All right? And I think that's why the APC is saying that, no, we must jump ship and come and join us. All right? But wisdom must prevail, and common sense must also prevail.
We've seen the situation where, let's just put it in quotes, Godfatherism, a situation where some governors, like you rightly said, think that the state belongs to them. That was actually what led to the Wike thing. It has happened in other states. Now, does this boil down to political immaturity?
Maybe naivety. Okay. Yes. I mean, things could be handled in a much, much robust manner. For instance, and that's what people are saying, and I agree with them that, look, rather than go the way of emergency rule, why don't we call the warring parties together?
Okay.
Yes, and see how things can be done politically and legally. Right. I feel a sense of loss, that we have to do this in a democracy, for instance. That should not have been. And I'm sure that we must thank the good Lord that the situation in River did not degenerate into a mayhem. Because both parties, I'm talking about Wike and Fubara, they are their followers. They could just have taken the laws into their hands, all right? Not minding the deployment of military battalions and things like that. So I hope that on both sides, people have learned their lesson. Yes, and I hope also that this does not repeat itself in another state.
Leaves serious questions which will not come up today as regards the judiciary. Well, we will be going down to another issue that is quite trending in the news. The issue of internet fraud and the perpetrators, those that we usually refer to as Yahoo Boys. The FCC is crying out, saying, Yahoo Boys worsening visa restrictions for Nigerians.
Well, remember, it was on the news some time ago, on our news, that the United States has placed some kind of restrictions on visa applications and things. I mean, this is one of the reasons. Yeah, because, you see, when these boys want to travel outside this country, they carry this kind of mindset into other countries. You remember what happened in Ghana?
Exactly.
All right? When they were driving back our boys because they imagined that they were going to be a bad influence on young people who are Ghanaians. Yes, that's right. I mean, what we need to do is to do a lot of public enlightenment to tell these boys that there are better ways of doing things, better ways of doing business. Many of them are dropouts, incidentally, but they can also use their mental strength to do better things. Okay? Yes, I agree that they are giving the country a very bad image, but not just in our international relations. What of home?
Okay.
Yes, a lot of people have been defrauded for one reason or the other. Yes, and that's not too good for the economy of this country. I mean, while we are inviting investors to come, investors will think twice that they might be put on harm's way. So I think I agree with TFCC. Yes, that is worsening. I mean, these things are worsening the situation of within our international relations.
All right. So apologies have come out to say that assuming the contract created an enabling environment for these youths to thrive, that they wouldn't delve into that. Are you of this opinion?
Yes, I think so. I think so. And I don't mind. They say they often say is the devil's workshop. I mean, if you keep these young boys engaged somewhere, I don't think they will have the propensity to go into this kind of crime. All right. But at the same time, we have to realize that when they do this thing, they are using their mental power, which can be engaged in some other directions. Okay. Because it takes some, and I think I'm saying this with all authority, to be able to defraud through internet, you need some mental capability. Okay. Yes. And when these boys are caught, don't just send them to jail. Okay. Use their mental power to be able to develop the country. Okay. That's what should have happened in countries like the United States, right? So, but yes, that's what it is, arising from poverty, poverty of the mind, poverty of the pocket, arising from lack of good education, okay, and arising from the fact that they have heroes in people who have been doing all kinds of funny things. Okay. Yeah, because these boys, within the bracket of 18 and 22, or thereabout, or even 23. They are the ones who are caught in the web. But they are very impressionable. They see the larger society and they now think that, oh yes, to make it happen for yourself, you must go into frauds, which is not right. Okay? So, but we must do a lot of public enlightenment work. We must use the instruments of the media to enlighten these boys and girls. Girls are also involved, by the way, that fraud by way of internet does not pay. Eventually, where you're getting there, you're thinking that you have done all the good things you can do, you get caught eventually, and that's bad spot for parents and guardians. All right. So, but I think that yes, the situation is bad enough. That's why FCC is crying out. If it was not something that was that bad, they wouldn't. They would just look the other way. But it's bringing the Nigerian state into public odium, and I think that yes, some foreign countries will be thinking otherwise when it comes to issues of visas to Nigerians.
The issue of security outfits, where they are personnel, yes, some of them have been accused. Some of them have been accused that when some of these boys are either reported or brought down to either the stations, that they always find their way out after giving out some little stipends, as the case may be. What's your take on this?
It has happened. The press has reported this on many occasions, and I think that the Security High Command should be able to say something very tangent about this, particularly those who are directly involved in interactions with these boys. I know, but the point really is that we must drive it home. If there are culprits, they must be disciplined, they must be sanctioned appropriately, and they must be exposed, possibly by way of media exposure, that these things are being done in collaboration with some of the security forces. Otherwise, it becomes a phenomenon which will hardly go away, by the way. So I think, yes, you're right, and I also think that the security forces should not be tempted into receiving bribes or whatever it is from these boys. If they do, then they'll be complicit. And you know what that means in law.
Exactly.
Yes.
And to another pressing, very, very pressing issue. This has to do with flooding in Nigeria. And just like my boss said earlier on, it is quite a surprise that in the northern parts of the country, we're experiencing so much flood. Let us look at it from this angle. The NEMA says, or rather leads evacuation as flood ravages Adamawa communities. Like I pointed out just now, in the north, it is now rampant. These are supposed to be arid areas. And what do you think has led to, is this just a matter of climate change?
I think so. More of climate change. basically, because, I mean, in any case, government has no control over these things. But the rains have been falling in heavy torrents up in the north. Yes, you're right. These are arid areas, Sokoto, Adamawa, and that axis. Yeah, you can see the picture over there. A lot of communities have been submerged, which was unusual in those days, very unusual. I mean, look at the officials trying to rescue a boy or a girl, I can't tell now. But that's what it is. And I believe that it must be a strong national effort. Let's not leave these things to just the states alone. This has happened in Adamawa, for instance. Let it not be just within the purview of Adamawa State. Let the federal government, through its agencies, come down, to rescue the people. Now, the thing about floods actually is that you think it's maybe about 100 households, but multiplier effects are there. How many people are in each household? You may be talking about thousands. Really, farmlands are washed away.
Exactly.
Workplaces are affected. People cannot access their homes and things like that. It can be very devastating. In fact, people have often asked, which is worse? Is it fire incident or water? Water carries everything in his wake. That's why it is terribly dangerous. And we saw a picture which went viral yesterday. Sorry, we can't pick that up now. Somewhere in Agbo area. Delta State, the motorbike or a bike rider was washed away with a flood. That was terrible. It was really bad. The bike, although the guy took a risk himself, because he ought to have known that these things were a moving force. And he wanted to risk it, all in the attempt to drop a passenger or something, but he fell into a ditch inside the water, and was washed away. There was no resistance, and people were just watching helplessly. So that was a sore point. It was a sore point, and I just hope that, such things do not occur on a regular basis. But for our brethren up north, we want to sympathize with them on behalf of the station. I want to sympathize with the families that have been so badly affected, and I hope that there will be concerted efforts, joint efforts to be able to bring these people back to life.
I'm happy about something that you said, that the government, it is not the fault of the government.
No, it's not.
At least that's one thing we can't blame the government for.
Yes.
But then, what about the level of preparedness for such events?
Well, science must play a part here. I mean, people are always forewarned that, and I think that over time they've taken some of these warnings for granted. Yes, it's science. I mean, you can read the weather 24 hours, 48 hours. We have weather report every day on our news. And it is obvious that when we say a certain area will experience rainfalls, these rainfalls will come because it has to do with science. But a lot of people take it for granted. And I believe that, yes, government must be prepared for it. Two ways. Move the people from those vulnerable areas, move them. You can resettle them somewhere. It's only momentary. But you can also enlighten the people. Using state organs like NOAA and the rest, to drum it into their ears that these things have ripple effects, both on lives and on the economy. Because you see, lots and lots of man hours are lost. When people are hemmed in, they can't go anywhere. They are hemmed in, and for 2-3 days, they can't access their offices, they can't go anywhere. So man hours are lost in the process. So I believe that, yes, government can do a lot in this direction.
All right. Just before we go, as regards the role of government, IDPs, it's like the IDPs are overflooded now. As regards, these issues of floods, terrorism.
Even the IDPs have been ravaged by floods. Yes, ironically. Not just the issue of security now. They have been ravaged by floods. Some of them have been, they have scattered all over the place. You no longer talk about IDPs now, really. I mean, they become less and less fashionable. Right, that's because security has taken its toll. Even floods have taken their toll on these innocent young people. So I believe that, yes, it's a national emergency. The issue of IDPs, national emergency, floods, national emergency, insecurity, national emergency, the economy, yes, national emergency. This is why people are saying that President Tinubu must direct his attention to a lot of places that have become flashpoints by way of insecurity and the rest. So, but I believe that it's an eye-opener for government, that somebody cannot just sit idly by while some of these things are happening in this country. We are all citizens of this country, and we have a stake in it as to how this country can make progress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Like I would always say, it's not all the time that you get to be with your boss on or rather during an interview session. And on this note, as usual, my boss has a parting shot.
The parting shot has to do with rivers. Yes, and for obvious reasons. There's a new template now. It's like the second coming of Fubara, even though it's not by election. But it's the second coming, obviously. And I understand that there have been conditionalities. There should be no conditionalities. If the guy wants to contest the second time, well, yes, why not?
Okay.
There should be no conditionalities. Otherwise, we'll take the people's patience for granted and resilience. Yes, Rivers is quite an important state for this country. Don't forget, oil wells are there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Militants are there. Okay. And they're in large numbers. So we must do things according to the rule of law. The rule of law is the bedrock of democratic practice. Therefore, I want to advise people in government, people in authorities, let the sleeping dogs lie. This goes particularly to Wike. Wike has been an untouchable. I mean, it is obvious, in spite of all the things that he has been saying, proudly and vehemently. So we must... and I think President Tinubu has the authority to do that. Where he goes into overdrive,
Okay.
yes, let him be brought let be brought in check, because you cannot be bigger than the government. You cannot even be bigger than the person who appointed you. But that's the scenario in the last few months, and I think that yes, we can create a safe haven for the people of Rivers State. They have been peace-loving, but let's not drive them to the wall.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. And on this note, I want to say thank you, and always remember to tell your friends and family about Providence Television International. Please stay tuned.